Jen and I have been in some soul searching to try to reconcile how to reconnect with our etheric inner self within the third and now fourth density realms, as we all continue to move inexorably towards the fifth density realm of unconditional love. We hope that by sharing our journey, we're going to support you to also understand this, and we hope that it'll serve you on your journey inwards. Remember that expanded consciousness is a door that opens from within. Jen and I have spent years trying to change the reflection that was mirrored back to us as our reality by wearing makeup, fashionable clothing, having a massive group of acquaintances who we partied with every Friday and Saturday night, by driving ridiculously fancy cars, which we replaced every 18 months or so, as they very soon lost their appeal and demonstrated what they really were, namely just ornaments that offered no meaningful value at all. Back then, we viewed ourselves as isolated centers of awareness who existed in an alien world that was separate from us. This led us to mistakenly believe that we're merely puppets who the world pushes around, and that our external world was something that we must confront and overcome, when nothing could be further from the truth. As we struggled with this construct, we felt that as long as we continued to look outside of ourselves, we would just remain trapped in this mind matrix prison. So to begin our journey away from duality, we realized that we were effectively trying to change the reflection in the mirror rather than reconnecting with our inner etheric self, who is really the origin of the reflection after all. The next step on our journey towards unconditional love was to escort certain people who we saw as energy vampires from the VIP section of our life to just the normal regular seat. This first step was extremely empowering and also helped us to realize that to continue the expansion of our consciousness, we needed to think about shifting the way that we actually experience ourselves on a daily basis. This positive shift helped us to see that instead of seeing everything as existing outside of ourselves, we rather realized that our true essence, or our soul, exists within us, and that our outer world was merely a reflection of our inner selves. Jen and I realized that everything that was occurring in our outer world was merely an audition which was vying for our attention. We saw that the thoughts we thought, the perceptions that we held on to, were very dependent on the energy that we actually invested into them. In other words, that which you choose to ignore will fade from your experience, and that which you choose to focus on will amplify. Remember that this works whether you're aware of it or not. One of the greatest moments in our life was when we realized that everything which occurs within our outer environment were merely events which were auditioning for our attention. This means that if you put your attention onto any event that occurs in your experience, it immediately creates a resonant frequency with that event. What that does is it then amplifies that event and actually brings more of that into your experience. We also discovered that any event which we chose to ignore by choosing not to focus any energy on it eventually faded and disappeared completely. In other words, when you refuse to focus any energy on events that are not of your liking, they lose their impact on your vibrational frequency and eventually just fade away. What this means is it's like when your frequency match with an event, whether it's an event you like or you dislike, what you're doing is when you focus your attention on any unwelcome event, you create that resonant frequency with it, or said differently, you frequency match with it. What that means is it's like issuing an instruction to the universe, consciousness, or the quantum field, stating that you want more of the same, whether the same is something you like or something that you dislike. Remember that the quantum field does not analyze your thoughts. It only perceives where you've chosen to focus your attention or what your resonant frequency is matching. Where attention goes and energy flows, a resonant frequency always matches with it, which in turn tells the quantum field that we want more of the same. The key to effectively communicating with the quantum field lies with directing where we focus our energy and attention. If you focus on the unwelcome event and give that your attention, that's what will manifest. If, on the other hand, you direct your thoughts towards constructs that resonate with possibility and that eliminate negativity, then just that is what's going to appear in your outer world. To shift away from negative events that you don't want to occur in your experience, you should begin to understand the language of energy and resonance that the quantum field, consciousness, or the universe speaks. The quantum field does not speak English or any other language. It only reads the vibrational reactions and the resonant frequency that we choose to connect with. If we want to engage the quantum field, then we need to master the art of selective engagement. Whatever we choose to focus our energy and emotions on is going to amplify through our attention. So when we give any event, positive or negative, our attention, we are effectively casting our vote for its amplification, or we're sending an invitation for it to actually manifest in our outer world. Exactly the same thing is true when we withhold our attention from any event which we don't want to occur in our lives. By doing this, we demonstrate that we don't want any more of that negativity in our lives, as we are disinterested and even opposed to it continuing showing up in our experience. Once you embrace this construct, you're going to unlock incredible inner power where you can consciously co-create your reality. This empowers us to remove anything that we view as negative, and also gives us the ability to promote or amplify anything that we desire or we see as contributing to optimizing our life experience. Our conscious attention effectively serves as the conduit or the method which we use to engage and communicate with the quantum field or consciousness itself. Whatever we give our attention dictates the composition of our life symphony, or what we're ultimately going to resonate with. Once Jen and I realized that we're not something which is separate from our world, but rather that we are an integral part of it, everything started to shift positively. We realized that our reality is merely a canvas, and that as we are the artists, we could mold and shape it to match all of our own aspirations. We realized that everything we did was what the whole universe was doing at the place that we call here and now. Think about it this way. You are something the universe is doing just the same as a wave in the ocean is something that the whole ocean is doing. In other words, you're not merely a puppet which the world pushes around because you're separate from everything, living in a world which dominates you. You are the whole universe expressing itself just the same way a singer sings a song. It really is time for you to stop believing that you're limited and only exist as an external character within your isolated world that is separate from you. Going forward, as we travel towards New Earth, we need to embrace our true essence of who we really are, where every individual accepts that they are not merely their conscious ego, but rather that they are interconnected and dependent, mutually dependent on each other. This was the first part of our journey, and we believe that it was a really crucial element which supported us to move towards the content of our next video, where we discovered the path to escape, the absolute path to escape from this mind matrix prison. In our next video, we're going to go way deeper into exploring who the captain of the ship really is, or should we rather say, understanding our soul or our inner selves. To whet your appetite, we're going to try to demonstrate this construct to you with a couple of examples. Let's explore one of these paradigms which spiritual leaders use to kind of get us thinking, namely where they come up with sayings like, nothing is done, but nothing is left undone. And I'm sure you're sitting there and going, that sounds really counterintuitive. But to support understanding around this construct and sort of get your brain thinking along these lines before we make the next video, we want to offer you a little example. So, as you know, we don't control the millions of chemical reactions which occur within our bodies every second. Yet as long as we have created the perfect circumstances by providing great nutrition, exercising, taking care of our bodies, and making sure that we've got those perfect conditions for the functioning of all of our cells, all of those millions and millions of chemical reactions just occur seamlessly. No work required. And exactly the same thing's true when you watch an Olympic athlete competing. They just get into the zone and they just align. In other words, their performance is just perfect. It's literally done on a subconscious level. In other words, when we get out of our own way, everything just flows and just works. That is what we mean when we suggest that nothing is done, but nothing is left undone. To apply this idea to the content of this video, it will at first take conscious effort to apply all of these principles. But once you've mastered them, everything's just going to occur effortlessly. Jen and I are really looking forward to sharing more unconditional love in our next video with you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and we hope to chat to you very soon.